Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. And usually, Mondays are for catching up on emails, maybe grabbing a coffee. But if you are anywhere near Southern California today, wow.
Yeah.
The ground has essentially shifted under your feet. And I don't mean an earthquake.
No, not at all. It's the sheer velocity of news, right? Hitting the South Bay just in the last, 12 to 24 hours. It's absolute madness.
It really is.
We're seeing this tale of two economies just emerge overnight, and the contrast is just so stark.
It is.
On one hand, you have this massive, billion-dollar explosion in aerospace defense, future tech.
And then on the other,
a very, very painful reality check for the service industry and for logistics.
it's financial whiplash. The only way I can think to describe it. So we're going to unpack all of this, but we have a really specific mission for today.
Right.
We need to start with the breaking news. The aerospace boom. This is the big story.
Oh, it's the headline of the year so far, for
Right.
sure.
We're talking about Anduril Industries. Then we have to look at the pain points. Specifically, what's happening with fat brands in the Port of Los Angeles. And finally, because we always want to give you a toolkit here,
Right.
we're going to look at how companies caught in this whirlwind, whether they're booming or busting, how they can control their narrative.
A really important piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. We'll be looking at a local strategy hub, Voxel Micro Video Labs, and how that fits in. But, it's not bury the leaded.
That's not.
Space Beach isn't just a cute nickname anymore, is it?
No, it is not. If you've been following the rumors over the weekend, well, they are rumors no more.
Okay.
As of the last 12 hours, Anduril Industries has officially confirmed they are moving forward with a massive expansion.
And when we say massive, you have to help me visualize this.
Okay.
Because the press release threw out some numbers that are they're hard to wrap your head around.
Okay, so we're talking about a $1 billion investment.
Okay.
A billion with a B, yeah. They're establishing a second major Southern California campus. It's going to span across both Long Beach and Lakewood.
And the facility itself, the size.
The facility itself is, get this, 1.18 million square feet.
1.18 million square feet. I'm trying to picture that. What is that? Like 20 football fields?
Give or take, yeah. It's an obscene amount of space for an urban area, but what really matters here isn't the square footage, it's what they're filling it with.
Okay.
You have to realize most tech news in California for the last decade has been about software, right? Code that lives on a server farm somewhere else.
Right. It's all intangible stuff. Apps, social media, AI in the cloud.
Exactly. This is different. This is hardware. This is heavy manufacturing. They are just coding there. They are, bending metal.
So what are they making?
This facility is designed to churn out autonomous fighter jets and the divergence robotic submarines.
Okay, hold on. Robotic submarines is a phrase that just stops you in your tracks. We aren't talking about research prototypes anymore.
No, and that is the key takeaway here. Anduril is moving from prototyping to mass production.
Wow.
That billion-dollar investment is them saying, the R&D phase is over, we are building the armory of the future.
Which requires a very different kind of workforce than, writing code for a dating app.
Totally different. That was going to be my next question for you. You can't build a submarine on a laptop in a coffee shop. You need hands.
A lot of hands.
You need a lot of hands. The report says this expansion is creating approximately 5,500 direct jobs, and we are not talking about gig economy work.
And what's the timeline? Anduril is aiming to have this open by mid-2027, right?
Mid-2027, yes. Now, to understand why this is such a seismic shift, you really have to connect it back to that 2025 Southern California economic update we've been talking about.
Right, because the broader economic picture hasn't been a rocket ship at all. It's been pretty flat.
Sluggish is the polite term. Job growth in the region was hovering around 0.5% in 2025. Very slow.
But the aerospace and defense cluster.
That is a high-value outlier, a huge one.
Okay, when you say high value, let's talk brass tacks. What does that mean for someone's paycheck?
This is where the data gets fascinating. If you look at the wage numbers from Orange County, where Anduril is currently headquartered, the average annual wage in aerospace and defense is $153,083.
Wow. Oh, over $150K.
That's the highest among all the innovative industries they track. It beats out AI. It beats out robotics. It even beats out software development.
That feels counterintuitive.
Yeah.
We're always told AI is the big moneymaker. Why is defense higher?
Scarcity and security. Think about it. You can outsource coding to a team in another country.
Right.
You absolutely cannot outsource the manufacturing of a classified autonomous fighter jet. You need cleared, skilled American workers on site. So when Anduril expands into Long Beach and Lakewood, they aren't just bringing jobs. They're exporting these high-salary, high-value roles right into the South Bay.
That completely changes the complexion of the local economy. You're dropping 5,500 people with serious disposable income right into that corridor.
Precisely. Okay. And in a year where we've been worried about the hollowing out of the middle class or, the impact of AI replacing white-collar work, this is a brick-and-mortar a high-tech manufacturing counter-narrative. It creates a gravitational pull for talent.
It feels permanent, doesn't it? Like a real shift. We spent decades being known as the Hollywood Dream Factory. Are we turning into a hard-tech fortress?
That is the trend line. Anduril is the poster child for that shift. But, frankly, not everyone is popping champagne bottles this morning.
No, absolutely not. And this brings us to the other side of the ledger, the other part of this tale of two economies.
Right.
While Anduril is spending $1 billion, we have a very different story coming out of the fast casual dining sector. Literally this morning, breaking news.
Fat Brands
has filed for Chapter 11.
This is the pain story. And it's a big one because of the footprint. I mean, Fat Brands, Inc. isn't just one burger joint.
No, it's a massive portfolio. We're talking Fatburger, Johnny Rockets, Round Total Pizza, Twin Peaks, Great American Cookies. I think it's 18 concepts in total.
And over 2,200 locations worldwide. Now, before anyone panics about their lunch plans, Chapter 11 is reorganization. It's not liquidation.
So the burgers are still grilling, the doors aren't chained shut.
Exactly. Operations continue. But the corporate structure is it's in turmoil. They filed for voluntary Chapter 11.
And the goal there is to deleverage their balance sheet. Can you translate that from Wall Street speak to Main Street speak? What does that actually mean?
It's a textbook case of what happens when cheap money strategies hit a high-interest reality.
Okay.
Fat Brands grew so aggressively by just acquiring everything in sight, buying those pizza chains and burger joints using debt. And when interest rates were near zero a few years ago, that debt was really cheap to service. It was easy money.
But now rates are up, and that debt is suddenly very, very expensive.
Precisely. The VIG on the loan, so to speak, just went way up. They have significant debt. So even if they sell 1 million burgers, the interest payments are just eating the profit.
Got it.
Filing Chapter 11 lets them pause, look at their lenders, and say, hey, we need to renegotiate these terms or nobody gets paid.
So it's not that people stopped eating pizza. It's that the mortgage on the pizza oven got too expensive.
That is a perfect analogy, and it highlights the struggle of the whole retail and dining sector right now.
And that's not the only pain point today, is it? We had to talk about the Port of Los Angeles, Terminal Island.
Right. This isn't a financial bankruptcy, but it feels a bit like a regulatory one.
How so?
It's a different kind of pain. The port just released a revised environmental impact report, an EIR, for the Terminal Island Maritime Support Facility.
And usually, paperwork releases are kind of boring, but this one has some stinging language in it.
It does. It explicitly highlights significant and unavoidable air quality impacts, specifically regarding NOx emissions, nitrogen oxides. Significant and unavoidable. That is not what you want to hear if you're a local resident in San Pedro or Wilmington.
No. And this creates a double-sided pain, right? For the community, it's the pollution, the direct health impact. But for the logistics companies, it's a massive strategic hurdle.
Right.
The port has this build bigger, smarter vision, but the environmental reality is putting the brakes on.
It feels like a collision course. You have the need for supply chain growth, getting goods onto the shelves.
Yeah.
And it's just crashing into the reality that you can't pump smog into the air anymore without consequences.
It creates public relations battles, lawsuits, potential delays. So you have the logistics sector stuck in this friction. And the retail sector in bankruptcy. It looks pretty bleak next to the aerospace news.
It does. But I do want to throw in a little local color here, a silver lining we found.
Please, we need a palate cleanser.
I was looking at the local Reddit buzz, and people are absolutely losing their minds in a good way about Zanku chicken.
The garlic sauce. They are opening a new spot in the South Bay, in Lawndale, right where the old Boston market used to be.
It's a small detail, but it matters, right? It shows that local excitement for specific brands is still very much alive.
Exactly. It's a counter-narrative. But okay, let's zoom out. We have these massive headlines. You're either expanding by $1 billion like Anduril, Or you're filing Chapter 11 like Fat Brands.
Or you're fighting an environmental battle like the port.
Right. So the question is, how do you control the spin?
This is the crucial strategic question. In a volatile news cycle, if you don't define your story, the market defines it for you. And usually not in a way you're going to like.
And this brings us to the strategic part of our deep dive. Brand amplification. We've been tracking a strategy emerging from the South Bay, specifically using hubs like Voxel Micro Video Labs.
Right. They're in San Pedro, 365 West 6th Street.
Yeah, right there.
And they're interesting because they position themselves as a creator support hub. It's not just about, renting a studio. It's about what we call authority amplification.
Authority amplification. I like that.
Yeah, and if you look at their site, they have these specific specialty pages that map almost perfectly to the news we just talked about.
Okay, let's play that out. Start with the boom. Start with Anduril. They've got great news, obviously, but they have a challenge.
A huge challenge.
They need to hire 5,500 people in about 18 months.
Right. And not just anyone. They need engineers, software developers, technicians. These are competitive hires. They're competing with SpaceX, with Northrop, with Google.
So how does Anduril use a place like Voxel?
They would look at Voxel's tech and innovation specialty page. The strategy here isn't just posting a job listing on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's about broadcasting the space beach narrative. They need to create content that shows off the futuristic nature of the work.
Show the drones. Show the robotic subs.
Exactly. You use the studio to create high-quality visual content that says, this is where the future is being built. You make the South Bay Tech Corridor look like the only place to be for a serious engineer.
So Voxel becomes the hub to amplify that recruitment drive. You're selling a mission, not just a job.
Precisely.
Okay, so that's the good news spin. What about the port? That's a complex news spin. They have this negative EIR report saying unavoidable pollution.
This is much, much tougher. You can't just ignore unavoidable air quality impacts. You have to address it.
So what do you do?
Here, you'd look at Voxel's shipping and logistics specialty page. And the strategy is, do not hide.
Don't hide.
Do not hide. Silence is an admission of guilt in the court of public opinion. The strategy would be to use the studio, which is right there in San Pedro at the epicenter,
right,
to host a deep dive or a panel discussion. Bring in the experts, explain the nuance.
So you become the source of truth on the issue.
Yes. You explain why the expansion is necessary for the economy, but you also face the environmental concerns head on. Explain the mitigation efforts.
Because if you let the EIR speak for itself, the headline is just court poisons air.
Exactly. If you create content around it, you can explain the trade-offs and the long-term vision. You control the narrative nuance.
That makes a lot of sense. Treat the audience like adults. Now, what about the professional leadership side? We saw CBRE just appointed Patrick McGrath as the South Bay market leader.
Right. And Globist is reporting a turning point in industrial vacancies, that they're finally starting to plateau.
So if I'm Patrick McGrath or anyone in commercial real estate, what am I doing?
You're going straight to the commercial real estate specialty page at Voxel. You need to position yourself as the thought leader for the 2026 recovery.
Okay.
You use the studio to interpret that data. Don't just send a PDF report to your clients. Record a video analysis explaining why vacancies are plateauing and where the opportunities are now. You define the market turning point before anyone else does.
I love that. And finally, for the small business owners, the Zanku chickens, or, the folks mourning the loss of current events in Manhattan Beach.
The small business specialty page. The lesson from all these closures is that you can't just be a shop anymore. You have to be an industry authority. Voxel helps them transition from we sell chicken or we sell magazines to we are a pillar of the South Bay lifestyle. It's about building a digital brand that survives even when foot traffic dips.
It's the difference between being a commodity, just another burger place, and being a destination.
Precisely. And that is what Fat Brands is realizing the hard way. The brand has to be strong enough to weather the financial storms.
So let's recap this whirlwind. It is February 2, 2026. We have Anduril building the future of defense in our backyard.
Literally cementing the space beach identity with $1 billion and 5,500 jobs.
At the same time, we have Fat Brands fighting for financial survival through Chapter 11, reminding us that debt is dangerous when the economy shifts.
And we have the port navigating the very real collision between industrial growth and environmental health.
And the takeaway for you listening, I mean, whether you are managing $1 billion expansion or trying to restructure a franchise or just trying to get permits for a terminal, the ability to control your narrative, maybe through a localized content hub like Voxel, is the difference between defining the story or letting the story define you.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. We keep talking about space beach. We see AI taking over software jobs, as that economic report mentioned, but manufacturing wages are skyrocketing. Are we seeing a permanent shift in Southern California's identity?
From the Hollywood dream factory to the hard tech fortress.
Exactly. And if that shift is real, is your skill set ready for 2027?
Are you learning to code or are you learning to build?
That's the question.
That is the question of the day. Stay curious, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.